Hey TV fans, Bored Now back with you. On this video I'm going to be talking about The Penguin episode 2. The episode is called Inside Man. Full spoilers once again. And so the inside man of the title is the person who is the rat, who Sophia suspects as being the rat, which of course we know is the penguin, but she's still trying to figure it out. And we know in the first episode she had her suspicions and was putting pressure on him, but then he pulled that plan out of the hat and that made her think otherwise. And we've got this whole turf war thing going on. And now at the start of this episode, the penguin is still continuing down the path of like playing both sides against each other, because he's still cozying up to Sol in prison and saying, yeah, I did do it. I set that up, I admit. But hey, we can still work together. It can still be beneficial. So yeah, there's something about him where he's almost got no shame. He'll just like continue to play both sides and use them to his advantage. And we see that play out in like the first like big scene with him also, when once again he's pulling his tricks to make it look like these people from the other gang were shot by the people from the other gang, even though he shot them. So that stuff is still like boiling and escalating. But a big focus of the episode is Sophia and her state of mind, and how she's still coming to terms with the death of her brother. It gets inside her head, showing how traumatized she is, but also how this is driving her rage to find out who killed him, get to the bottom of it. And it seems like it's obviously very personal to her, and she's the one really pushing for this, whereas people around her and in the family are saying this is not the time to fall apart, this is not the time to go on vendettas, we need to keep things together. And the way they're putting it to her in the episode also is that you've got to grieve him right now. It's his funeral, you've got to pay your respects, and this stuff can wait till later. So, but she really takes central sort of focus for quite a lot of the episode. She's in a fair bit, and it's a big thing of her still grieving her brother, still coming to terms with his death, but also this desperation to find out who exactly he is, and that becomes a big thing at the end of the episode. But Cristin Miloti does some fantastic does some fantastic acting in this episode, because it's good to see another side to her, because she was very impressive in episode 1, but in a very different sort of way. Like, for a lot of it, it was like, okay, she's this shadowy, icy sort of mystery figure who's seems to, like, she might have the penguin's number, she might know exactly what's going on. How much does she know? How much doesn't she know? But we see a much more vulnerable side to her in this episode, and the psychology of it I thought was really well done. So the opening scene where she just has this vision where she's going to visit her dead brother in like prison, and they're on the other side of the glass, and he shoots himself or is shot in front of her, and that kind of brings back the trauma. And we get a couple of scenes like that, and yeah, she does some really great dramatic acting in the episode, and you really do feel for her. And as I said, that becomes a big motivation for her in the episode. And there's certain like visual moments where she's having like flashbacks or like trauma, and yeah, she does a really great job of drawing you in and then making you really invested in like her state of mind. But once again, there's some really like surprising scenes with her, that just scenes that remind you, okay, this woman is very unstable, this woman is a threat, she is dangerous. Like the scene with, like, because at one point when they're at like the brother's funeral, at like the wake afterwards, she bumps into like I think it's like a friend or maybe a distant cousin or something like that, but someone she's quite close to but hasn't seen for quite a while. And yeah, they're catching up, they're being like quite nice, and the friend or the cousin is like, okay, yeah, we should have a girls trip to Italy, it's really nice this time of year or in the summer. And she seems, and it's a really clever thing because in the one moment she's like getting into this and it's like, yeah, that would be nice, and she seems to be like enjoying bumping into like this old friend. But then like a young girl comes along who's like the daughter, and she meets her, but then she gets all very like sort of dark and sinister again because she warns the girl, just, or she warns the mother at least, just keep her safe, because being a member of this family for a girl that doesn't always go that well. And it's one of these like very awkward moments, and it's like, okay, the mother's like, yeah, we better get out of here, let's go, honey. And but it's just a great sort of switch around in that scene from her for like a brief moment being a bit more like upbeat and a bit nicer, and then just having a sort of a turnaround when she sees the girl, and just triggers something. It triggers something in her because she sees herself as a young girl, maybe like all innocent for a while, all innocent and young, and then being a part of this family does something to you and changes you over time. So that was another effective scene. And I really like, the stuff at the end of the episode, the stuff with her trying to catch up with whoever this is. And once again, there's enough like funnier moments as well, lighter moments. Once again, a dark sort of comedy, because like the stuff with when she leans on this contact from the police force, and it's almost a joke of like, yeah, I know you're corrupt, I know you're dirty, and he's like, well, we all are. She's like, yeah, but you've got something a little bit different. And she just leans on this guy that they sort of approach him in like a bar or something, and they force him into helping them find out what went on this job when her men was like killed, and looking for like a survivor from, because it turns out that one of them did survive, one of the guys that the Penguin shot. So they bring it in. So it's this sort of ridiculous type thing of, he brings the guy in from like the hospital where he's been on like life support, and he's in the boot of the car, and he shows up with him at the funeral, at the wake, because he says, this guy, if you keep him alive, if you question him, he should be able to tell you who it was exactly. And this is another fun thing about this show so far, is it's really fun seeing how the Penguin is going to like worm his way out of these situations each week, because like he's the main character, so he is going to get out of it somehow, at least at first. At least nothing serious is going to happen till the end to him, you wouldn't think, but like it's fun watching how he does it, watching him have to think on his feet, because in this case, he has like a plan, which once again involves Victor, sorry, I think Victor's the name of the kid. Yeah, Victor has a plan, and the plan is for Victor to like cause a distraction so Penguin can sneak down to the basement and get to this witness, and also for Victor to like plant some diamonds on in a certain place. So once again, making it look like this is like the other side. So, but yeah, Victor, not that surprisingly, is like, no, I can't do that, and he sort of chickens out. Like, he does the first part, he causes the distraction, but then he can't go through with planting the diamonds. And Penguin knows this because he talks to him on the phone. So this is a fun little scene where the Penguin has to think on his feet. Like, he has to come up with an alternative plan on the spot. And that's like fun to do, because at first he's trying to get the guy to like, he gets him to like wake up, and he's saying, okay, when they question you, tell them and such is the one who did it. And then when he realizes then the plan hasn't gone to plan, talking to like Victor, it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to improvise, and he just kills the guy and plants the diamond himself, and that's his way of like solving the problem. And then that leads to this really tense scene, like at the wake, because they realise then whoever did it is now at the wake. So you get this scene where they stop everyone from leaving, and they sort of line them up against the wall, and they start searching everyone. And once again, the Penguin is so smooth and smart the way he like worms his way out of this, because he slips like the knife into like his sleeve, and it's a bit of a misdirect because the Michael Kelly character, at first I thought he like slipped it into him, like slipped it onto his body, because like he does this whole thing of like, and I guess it's just a misdirect to make you think that he's setting him up, but it's this whole thing of like he starts bad mouthing him, saying, you did this, didn't you? And the other guy's like, you better back off right now, and they get into a little bit of a tussle, and that's obviously when he transferred the knife and it must have been like to the guy like standing next to him. But it's clever stuff once again, and that's where it leads. Like the other guy who's one of like the right hand men, they find the knife on him and they pin it on him. They believe that he's the guy, and he pleads, says no, because Sophia is just threatening to shoot him on the spot, like she's about to do that. And I actually like the touch. Then it's the I'm not sure what relation he is, but he's another. He wouldn't be the father because I think they're too close in age. He could be the father, I'm not sure, but he might be another brother, I'm not sure, but some sort of relation. And he's the one who's earlier in the episode telling her, you need to move on from this stuff. You need to, this isn't helping. You need to move on. And he's actually another one who suggests, hey, why don't you go to Italy for a bit? But it's always funny because even though there might be a fraction of him that's like looking out for her, a big part of it is like just maneuvering her maybe out the way, because this isn't like beneficial, this isn't convenient for him and for the business, maybe for her to have this vendetta. But it's a really strong scene anyway. Then he makes the choice to just shoot the guy when he sees that she's gonna do it, and maybe that's part of like his way of like protecting her or looking out for her. It's like, I don't want you to have this on you, so I'm just gonna do it. Or it could just be one of these things where he's like just taking charge, like almost like a masculinity type thing. But it's a good scene anyway. The way everything plays out at the end of the episode, I think, is very strong. And once again, it almost has consequences for Victor, because he ends up not going through with the plan, and Penguin gets really, really tough on him because he says that, see, this is what happens when you don't go along with it. Look, you've got 2 dead bodies, and because they're burying the bodies, and at one point he forces him, says, hey, lay down there with those bums or whatever he says, that's where you belong, and threatens him. And once again, I mean, clearly he wasn't going to kill him, but he definitely puts the fear into Victor and makes him believe that he is. And again, there's some pretty solid scenes with Victor and the penguin in this episode, and you get another scene with the mother, who we find out has dementia. And one thing that we see is that the penguin, Oswald, if you like, seems to be a little bit in denial with this stuff, because they're about to go to the wake and someone calls him and tells him later then, yeah, she was found, she was roaming the streets, that kind of thing. And the mother, like, denies this. She says, I just went for a walk, it was, like, innocent. And the penguin is just, like, dismisses the guy almost like... It's almost like he's in denial, and this stuff is getting serious with the mother. But they have another nice little tender scene, and I think it shows again that he does truly care for her. He puts a record on, and they have a little dance, because Victor reminds him that, hey, the funeral's coming up and we've got to go. And the mother, to be fair, tells him, just go. It's almost that idea of she sees the importance, and he's got to be there. He's got to keep up. It's important for him to be there for, like, connections and ties, and to keep a good relationship with that family. But yeah, it says something. Then the penguin is like, are you sure? I'll stay if you want. So it's another, like, quite tender, affected scene, I think. I don't think this episode is as good as episode 1, but I still think it's a really strong episode. And once again, some of the drama of it, some of the tension of it, little moments of humour, which were definitely, like, appreciated. Some good acting once again. So yeah, another good episode. That's Penguin episode 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe as always. You can support me at patreon.com/borednow for just $1 a month. And also I've just launched channel memberships. So there's 3 different tiers for that if you want to have a look at those and support the channel, even if it's at, like, the lower tier and just a little bit. Anything helps out, but there will be a bunch of perks on those various tiers which I will be rolling out in the coming months. So if you want to support the channel that way, that would be greatly appreciated. And look out for more TV reviews coming up. I'm also doing Agatha All Along, so I'm going to keep up with that show as well. But yeah, let me know what you think of the Penguin episode 2, and I'll be back soon with more. Take care. Bye.